Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to another episode of What Makes This Game Great. You know the game we're talking about today? It's a remake of a classic game in itself. So let's get right into it.
Resident Evil 2.
I will, but I gotta go.
Resident Evil 2 Remake was released in 2019. It was developed and published by Capcom, and of course was a remake of the 1998 game Resident Evil 2. It was released for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and eventually made its way to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series XS, and the Nintendo Switch. In it, you take control of the rookie police officer Leon Kennedy, or the college student Claire Redfield, as they attempt to escape Raccoon City during a zombie outbreak. When it was released, it was praised for its gameplay and its faithfulness to the original. It received numerous awards, including the Ultimate Game of the Year award at the 2019 Golden Joystick Awards. It sold 12 million copies, outselling the original Resident Evil 2. And of course, this was built and developed on the RE engine, which was used for Resident Evil 7 Biohazard. The same engine was also used for the Resident Evil 3 remake and the new Resident Evil 4 remake that just came out earlier this year. The original Resident Evil 2 was one of my favorite games for PlayStation 1. It's got to be my top 3. Right up there with Metal Gear Solid and, of course, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. This was an excellent game, and the remake is even better. And really, I think it's awesome that one of my favorite games for PlayStation 1 happens to be one of my favorite games for PlayStation 4. Like the original, this game is a survival horror. Unlike the original, it has a third-person over-the-shoulder camera that follows your character around as they move through the environments in Raccoon City. You can move and fire your gun, which is an upgrade from the original. And of course, there are some areas that are very, very dark and very moody that require the use of a flashlight, which is a nice added touch to add a new bit of element of horror to the game. It contains a lot of puzzles, some similar to the original game, others completely different than the original game. And some are challenging, some are very intuitive. So that RE engine, that really makes a big difference to this game. I mean, it adds a lot of gloomy elements. It adds great rendering of like enemies and the character, and the third-person camera, over-the-shoulder camera. It's a great way to do this game. It really came out sharp. All the gameplay is nice and tight. It's really good, really well done. The graphics, really well done. The sound, excellent. The atmosphere, excellent. All these things are great. The extra puzzles and the new puzzles are great. Even when they do seem like the old puzzles, they are different. And I think that's cool. Things like the chess puzzle. It is a little bit different than the original. The original, you just collect the chess pieces and you plug them in. This one, you have to determine where they go. Anyway, small things, but it all adds up to a great game. But there's one element to this game, one element alone, that I think adds a lot to the game. But before we get to that, if you like this kind of content, it would mean the world to me if you hit that subscribe button. It's only one small button push for you, but it would mean the world to me. And if you like this content, boop that like button too. It tells me that people are liking what I'm putting out there. Once again, it's an easy button push. Just let me know. Anyway, this game goes much further than most other video games will in one area, and that area makes this game amazing. It really puts it up with the greatest games ever created. Let's talk about that right now. What makes this game truly great is the way it handles the non-player characters. It really gives them depth. It gives them broader stories, much broader than the original ever could, and it adds so much to the game and the feeling of the game. For example, this one that we're watching now, It's about Robert Kendo. He's the owner of the gun shop. In the original, he had maybe 3 or 4 lines and was in it for a minute, maybe 90 seconds. And you didn't know anything about him. He could have been a single guy, he could have had a family, could have been a lunatic for all you know. In this, it shows that he's got a family, and it shows the effects of this outbreak on his family. It really humanizes the victims in Raccoon City, and it really makes you angry at Umbrella and what they've done to the people of Raccoon City. As a father, I can't imagine what this man would be going through. This is a story element that not many games go in. Not many games take this route. A lot of movies won't even take this route. But this is gut-wrenching stuff, especially if you're a parent, or even if you're married, because he does suggest that he had to kill his own wife because she was turning into a zombie. It really is terrible. And next, of course, you have Chief Irons. He was in the original too, and he was a psycho. In the original, though, you could almost not blame him for being psychopathic. You know, his mind would fall apart. He was corrupt. He was on the take. He was taking money from Umbrella to hide things that they were doing. But, you know, look at what happened to his city. It all fell apart. His police department all fell apart. Everything fell apart around him. So of course he would go crazy. But in this one, this is a whole new level of douchebaggery. This guy is just an asshole. He is evil incarnate. He reminds me of the character Burke off the movie Aliens, if you've ever seen it. You know, somebody willing to sell out their fellow humans just for a few extra bucks. This guy is pure sleaze. I mean, who else beats a woman who's already tied up and kidnaps a kid, a child, as a bartering tool, as a pawn in his little game? This guy's sick, and he's a douchebag, and quite honestly, I'm glad he gets what he gets. And then you have another figure, the tragic figure of Annette Birkin. And it really is sad. She's torn between her daughter, her husband, and of course her lifelong work with her husband, working on this virus for Umbrella. And in the end, she kind of redeems herself. Of course, the game does have extra modes. It has things that you can get, like unlockable guns and things like that for beating the game in different scenarios. But really, I think the story of these 3 characters, these 3 non-player characters, and what Capcom has done in writing them in, the way that they've done it, has really added a lot to this game. So the way this game handles the NPCs really adds an element to it. And I think that launches it, gives it a whole new level that most games won't even go to. Especially that Robert Kendo story. It really hits me hard as a husband, as a parent. It really hits me hard. Really humanizes the victims of Raccoon City and the victims that the Umbrella Corporation created. Anyway, like I said, I think this is one of the greatest games ever. If you've never played it, you owe it to yourself to go out and get a copy. You can get it for PlayStation 4, that PlayStation 4 version. You can play on PlayStation 5. I've done it on my brother's. Listen, you can get it for PlayStation 5. You can get it for Xbox. You can get it for the new Xbox, the Series XS or whatever it's called. And if you don't have PlayStation or Xbox, you can even get it for the Switch. You can get it for Windows. Go out and get this game, play it, and tell me you don't love it. It's a wonderful game. It's great. Anyway, thanks for tuning into another episode. And I hope to see you in future episodes. And have a great day. Thank you very much.